Being an attractive Black woman is a threat, and before you roll your eyes, let me break down exactly what I'm talking about, because it's not even just about the looks. It's literally about the way you walk in a room like you belong there, because you do, but also the way that you carry yourself when you know your worth, the way you set boundaries and you stick to them, keyword. That kind of confidence, it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Suddenly you're not just pretty, but you're intimidating. Your standards now get labeled as arrogance. Your boundaries get called attitude. And your presence, they see it now as competition.
Oh, this is how I look today. This is my outfit. Mind you, everyone has been treating me like shit today. I woke up, went to go get coffee. Literally, I walk into a restaurant, nobody's at the host stand. Nobody greets me. People are seeing me, but they're not coming up to me asking if I need help or trying to take my order, even though it was a to-go order. Then number two, I literally go to another coffee shop to order from them. And literally everyone's looking at me. Like, they're looking at me crazy. Last but not least, I go to dinner and the bartender literally is like, I don't know if I ever got your name last time I saw you. What's your name? And I said, I don't remember seeing you. And she said, oh, well, what's your name again? What's your name? I told her my name, which I kind of regret telling her my name, but then she ignored me for the whole, literally 40 minutes. Like, I ordered my drink and she never asked me if I needed a menu. She never asked me if I needed help. There's kind of a lot of businessmen around, and the businessmen are at this point looking at me like, this girl hasn't been helped, but nobody's doing anything. But yeah, it's just so crazy to me. Everyone else got their food. I didn't even get asked if I needed a menu or not. Then these two Hispanic women come in and, there's plenty of chairs at the bar, plenty of chairs to fit them. They pick the two chairs closest to me. Then the girl pushes my chair, one of them, and she's like, can you move? Are you gonna move? So that me and my friend can fit. Can you move that way? I looked at her and I said, I'm about to leave, so you can wait. And you can do that yourself. Literally so problematic and weird. I don't know. God forbid a Black woman wants to look beautiful, feel beautiful, and go out. God forbid.
There's a word you hear when a Black woman shows up as bold. It's called audacious, and it's always used in a bad way. Today, we're diving into the audacity of a confident, beautiful Black woman. That moment when a Black woman knows her worth and shows up as beautiful, powerful, visible, and hits resistance. We'll talk a little bit as to why America seems to have a problem with Black women being sure of themselves, who refuse to self-deprecate their hair, their looks, or their voice. We'll pull in viral influencers like Jackie Aina, recent reality stars like Alondria and Shelly from the recent season of Love Island. I've mentioned them in previous videos before, and show how their confidence becomes a lightning rod and a mirror for us all. So grab your seats, grab your popcorn, and let's get into this video. Welcome back, daisies, and if you are new here, hi, my name is Caroline, your internet bestie who loves to yap and use my love of commentary to give glory to God and uplift other women. In this space, everything said here is 100% opinionated, so if you agree or disagree with anything, leave a comment down below. Let's get into the video. Historical context and the stereotypes. To understand the audacity, we have to know what it's resisting. Scholar Melissa Harris Perry, in her book Sister Citizen, touched on exactly what Black women are resisting: shame, stereotypes, and Black women in America named the strong Black woman stereotype, but also the older, harmful archetypes, the mammy, the Jezebel, and the Sapphire. These stereotypes cast Black women as these invisible caretakers, hypersexualized or angry burdens, anything but complex humans with agency. So when a Black woman stands tall, dresses in luxury, takes up space, the response isn't neutral. It's very much usually charged. From civil rights icons to hip-hop queens, confident Black women have always existed, but their audacity got blurred into too much or loud. In short, the resistance isn't new. The platform is. We ask ourselves, who are we to be brilliant, beautiful, talented, and fabulous? But honestly, who are you not to be so? That's a quote directly from Keke Palmer. The digital era and why confidence turns into controversy. In 2025, being confident is a content strategy. Yet, when Black women pivots to that strategy, the comment section shows up hungry. Research tells us that Black women face far more appearance-based stigma. One 2025 study on Black women's body image found that skin texture, hair texture, and body shape are often marked as different, which opens the door for stereotyping. Influencer beauty star 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙀𝚃𝙀𝚃 once wrote, "Hyperpigmentation, dark marks are a normal part of life. Yes, I am aware my skin is not perfect right now. No, I do not need constant reminders of this." In other words, it's audacious to simply exist confidently without being framed as brave for being normal. I'm gonna insert a recent controversial video that is going around of 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙀𝙀 as something that she faced recently. 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙀𝙀 is an influencer that I have looked up to for many years. I'm sure a lot of women have. She is a luxury Black perfume beauty guru. Like, she's in a lot of different sectors, but she's been around for a long time, for one. Two, she's really good at what she does. Three, she's unapologetically herself. She really does not care. And somebody who has a personality and stands for something will always have friends and foes. You know, I'm a Hamilton nerd, so regardless, you know, I've always been on the side of Hamilton, that you have to pick a side and you have to be who you are, because you can't please everyone. You can be the sweetest peach in the basket, but at the end of the day, there's gonna be somebody who does not like peaches. So genuinely show up as yourself and be yourself, because you're not going to please everyone. And that's exactly how 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙀𝙀 is. I think she has a lot of different controversies that have gone around and about her in recent years, but the more recent one was she had a video where she was kind of like a get ready with me, run an errand with me, like a day in my life. And you know, 𝚲𝙾𝙽𝙀𝙀 wears wigs, she changes up her hair a lot. And this was one of those days where she showed up on camera, she wasn't wearing her wig, so she had on the braids that she would usually wear under a wig. And they didn't look, I don't know, put together in the terms of what her comment section was saying, because she doesn't have a certain hair texture. And in her video, she discusses that, you know, a lot of people on the internet want Black women to show up as your natural self, show up and wear your hair out, you know, get rid of all that fake weave, that fake hair and this and that. But when there's a very prominent influencer who does show up as her natural self, she may not have styled her hair in a certain way, but like, that's very real. Like, that's her hair texture too. It was just awful in her comments from per what she is saying. And I think she raised a larger conversation in this video. Like I said, I'm gonna place it in here so you guys can judge it for yourself. But it's what prompted me to make this video, because I think she hit the nail right on the head when she discusses that, you know, the internet always is micromanaging Black women. Wear your hair this way, wear your hair that way. And it's not always just Black women within Black women, which is also a problem in itself. But then when you as a Black woman are going in the comments of another Black woman and diminishing her or criticizing her, her body, her hair, anything, you open the gateway, you open the door for other people to do it too. For other men, Black men, non-Black men, and then just other races in general, non-Black people. And honestly, the problem lies in the beginning. You know, Black women putting other Black women down. But there's a bigger problem when other races now feel very comfortable putting a Black woman down, when the exact same situation of another counterpart, another race, would not be happening. But here's the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
I think people like natural hair in theory if it looks a certain way. Can we be honest? Let's just keep it a buck. My most recent hair video, I didn't even think this was gonna be a thing. The second to last one that I did went viral. Some of the stuff that y'all were saying, I was like, okay, y'all are tweaking. Like, I'm not seeing what y'all are seeing. Sometimes content just ends up on the wrong side of the internet and it's just a fluke. It happens. But then it happened again. The last time I got my hair braided, I'm starting to realize there is a crowd of people who only like protective styles when the hair beneath it is fried, dyed, and laid to the side. And there's 3 pounds of gel, slicking it down, slicking it back, smoothing and grooving it, or the hair is blow dried straight. I can read between the lines. I saw the comments. There was a lot of them. Most of them were deleted and blocked. And yeah, everybody was moving the goalpost. It was just giving a bunch of excuses. I'm sorry. I call BS. But I am able to read between the lines. The common denominator was that people didn't think those hairstyles looked neat. But the thing with hairstyles, we've kind of lost the plot. Like, most trending styles that we can think of are like stitch braids and boho braids. Maybe a little boho blindness is at play. No, I'm just playing. I love boho braids. And it's one thing to like dislike a hairstyle, but if you're telling me that you dislike it and I tell you I don't care, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, and I gave you mine, and my opinion is that I don't care, why would that cause an uproar? Like, why would that bother people? It gives, you want me to hate my hair? Like, if I said I don't like your shoe and you say I don't care, I'm not gonna be like, oh, okay, well that's why you ugly and your mama dead. I'm gonna do these hairstyles. I'm not going to blow out my hair. That is just the traditional way to do like cornrow styles. Not every hairstyle is gonna require stitching, a stitching technique, a stitching pattern. That's just a style. It's not a right or wrong, it's just a style. And you can still cornrow people's hair without necessarily blow drying it straight. It's actually something that I've been doing for years. And people really only have a problem with it when I show little videos of me getting my installs done. And there's always chatter about how my hair looks old when it's installed, or it's not neat when it's freshly installed. If you read between the lines, and if you speak Black, and if you have natural hair, which also, why do my eyelashes need to be braided into my hairline for a style to look good? Braids don't always have to be painful. Braids don't always have to be snatched all the way to the middle of the crown for them to be beautiful. Somebody started this discourse about them saying, you know, my hair looks ugly, and they were like really dying on this hill that they had a right to say my hair was ugly. And that is what started the onslaught of trolling. It was bad. And a lot of it turned into non-Black people. So just so you know, those people who made those videos talking about my hair, y'all have lit in the match to giving non-Black people permission to dogpile on a Black woman about how her hair looks. And the worst part is these are people who look like me who were doing this. If the non-Blacks agree with you that Black hairstyles are ugly, and you feel like it is your God-given right to be able to express that at my expense, even though technically it also comes at yours. Like, if that's what you feel needs to be done, okay. Don't be mad when the chickens come home to roost. And don't be mad when them turns table. That's all I'll say about that. Hope it was worth it. So I was getting an influx of comments that were not even just talking about my hair. They were talking about how I look in very, very inappropriate, derogatory ways. Talking about my features, body shaming me. Why am I being body shamed? Because you don't like my braids. I'm confused. Calling me fat, calling me ugly, calling me Shrek, calling me Regina George. All because I simply said, I don't care if you don't like my hair. I don't, because I don't. And that particular day, I was serving natural hair. I was serving protective style. I was serving at home relaxed. I can't wait to get the style again. I loved it. You know, the reason why I wanted to talk about this, because it's one thing to like not like my wigs, kind of low hanging fruit. Because like, I know when my wig looks busted, and yeah, I still show up on camera 4K. I really don't care. I really don't feel like I need to look perfect 24/7, especially as a Black woman. I just don't. If there's only one thing stopping me from uploading and checking in with the community, and it happens to be my wig, like, am I supposed to run and seek asylum because my wig looks bad? Like, we all have our 5 days instead of our 10s. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's one thing to talk about the wigs, not too much when we're talking about my hair. Why are we talking about the length of my hair? Why are we talking about the density of my hair? Why are we talking about things I can't control about my hair? Like, why are people so relentlessly mean? Why are people so relentlessly mean when it comes to Black women's hair? I'm still going to keep showing up representing hair in the way that I like wearing my hair. Yeah, that means having regular cornrows put in my hair sometimes, regular non-stitch braided cornrows, and y'all gotta be okay with that. Sometimes you may see a little bit of my texture through the braids. That does not make the style ugly. Unless I make it not look kinky, it's going to look kinky. I'm gonna continue rocking hairstyles that cater to the non-texturist gaze. I fear people do not actually want to see representation of natural hair. Look at how we get treated. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Don't do that again.
But I feel like there's not much more for me to say. Jackie hit the nail right on the head with her commentary. We should just stop. We should just stop dogging on a Black woman, you know, who shows up confident in how she looks. I did comment on that video, and I did go into the comments and see some of the discourse that was going on in the video I just showed you guys. And it was a lot of the same. A lot of people were saying it's interesting how, you know, when a Black woman shows up as her full confident self, confident with her hair, 4C hair, it's not like the more accepted textures, you know, for all the texturists out there, you know, she shows up in 4C hair, which is probably one of the most dogged hair textures within the Black community because it's unmanageable, it's this, it's that, when actually none of those are true. It's just coming from a lot of people who grew up hearing that told to them, and or people who never or are just not honestly wanting to figure out how to take care of their own 4C hair, or did the bare minimum, it didn't come to them quickly, so they just like to fry it, perm it, do whatever you want. This video is not about dogging Black women who decide to do what they want to do with their hair. Hence, literally, this is where this whole conversation started with Jackie, was she decided to do what she wanted to do with her hair. And if that means not frying it and dyeing it and laying to the side because she doesn't want to know or figure out how to style her natural 4C hair, then that's fine. But in this video, she did want to show her natural hair. She does know how to, or have people that can give her styles where her 4C hair texture can be shown. And I do think it's a double standard that she gets hate for that. People feel uncomfortable seeing that because we've been taught in America, and I mean, I believe it's all over the world, but mostly in America, to not accept our natural curl patterns. And now, do I think all Black women and all people are like this? Absolutely not. But it's an interesting space on the internet when there is a high value or a confidence of an influencer like Jackie, a luxury influencer who is not falling into acceptable, palatable white stereotypes. And we just have to call a spade. You know, she doesn't. She's a luxury influencer. She's a business owner. She's so many different things, a Nigerian American, and she does not try to appease texturism or the white gaze. She is just her. And I think something can be said if A woman like her stands up and says she's beautiful and she knows it, and how people go in the comments and try to humble her compared to if, just for example, like an Alex Earl or somebody that's a known influencer that is not black, that goes out and says, oh, I'm beautiful. Like, people are like, oh yeah, you're beautiful. Why? Because she fits the conformity of beauty standards within America. Jackie Aina doesn't. So that's why people get uncomfortable when they see a black woman like her stand up and shout out loud, yeah, I think I'm beautiful, and I know it, and I'm confident about it. Because people will look at her and compare it to Alex Earl and be like, how dare you think that you're beautiful as a black woman? You should be asking me for validation if you're beautiful. But the fact that you're saying it already, now I need to humble you. And I have firsthand experience with this as a black YouTuber as well too, as a dark-skinned YouTuber, who wears like natural hair, my 4C hair texture, different things like that. You know, I believe I'm beautiful. I do think that for a lot of black women, we've all had similar arcs in the way of growing up in America. You're not being told you're beautiful all the time. Yeah, it depends. Of course, everybody's childhood is different, but you may not be told that frequently, especially as a child or in school or and things like that. You know, people do try to make it clear that you are not the beauty standard. So I think a lot of black women, when they do discover their own beauty and their individual unique beauty, they finally found it, they accept it, and they see themselves for who they are, regardless if the person around the corner, if the person next to them agrees with that. If they find themselves beautiful, then they're beautiful. And I think that's what a lot of us black women do, is like, we find our own beauty and we're in it, you know? So it's like, once you've done that you've gone through that insecurity, you've gone through that healing, and you found yourself and you found your unique beauty, there's no getting out of it. You know, you can try, but I'm here. So I have gone through that, and I feel like I found my beauty. I found what makes me feel confident in myself. And, you know, for people to kind of hear me say that in previous videos and get in the comments and be like, well, maybe if you weren't so vain and calling yourself that girl, or, you know, saying that you're so beautiful, maybe da 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 da. How about no? How about you don't tell me how to show up in my confidence and how to express my love of myself and express, you know, what I believe I look like and how, you know, beautiful I believe I am. And how about you do that for yourself? If you feel like it's vain for someone to call themselves beautiful, then keep that same energy all across the board. If you see a black woman do that and you feel the need to humble her, then you should feel that way for all women, you know? But if you don't feel that way for all women, maybe you should look inward. And I think that's what we're hitting on the head right now. So this also ties into when reality stars like Alandria or Shelly show up wearing their confidence as visibly as their outfits. The response is sometimes less uplifting and other times more like, who does she think she is? That's the audacity in real time. And I think a very good example of this is Alandria. I know Shelly and Alandria are both very much in their careers right now, doing different things since the show. If you don't watch Love Island, it's basically a dating show that aired here in the US. It's Love Island USA, I should clarify that. But Alandria is a character, a TV personality that was on the show and has faced a lot of racism and ridicule, her and Shelly, but Alandria in particular, for many different reasons. I'm not gonna mention the castmates that have heavily contributed to a lot of the racism that surrounds Alandria, because if you do watch the show, then you know exactly who I'm talking about. We don't need to rehash that. But I do think that it's interesting that regardless of all of that, our girl Alandria, she shines. Like, she's booking so many different things. She's been in Vogue, she's been in the Ebony, she's been on so many different magazine covers right now. She's booking so many different events right now. I see her with a new celebrity like every day. Like, girl is overworked, and I know the checks, they're coming in, okay? And, you know, you see a lot of people would not have suspected Alandria, of everybody who came out of that season, Alandria to be the one to be where she is right now. I personally also didn't really, I thought maybe Shelly might be a little bit more popular than Alandria, but she came off that season and she's always handled herself with class, even though on the season, because she handled herself with class, a lot of people called her fake. A lot of people said she was putting on an act and she wasn't acting like herself. But you see how it works? You see that if any other woman of any any other race would have acted the way Alandria acted and just been more reserved, more to herself, classy, everyone would not have batted an eye. And somebody who comes to mind, honestly, is, I'm really bad with names, but Iris, that's her name. She, in my opinion, kind of was a low stakes character as well in the show, similar to Alandria, but nobody was like, oh, I feel like Iris was being fake on the show. No, but Alandria, a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman, is put together, acts classy on the show, maybe gets in a little argument here or there, but it's nothing of any significance. And people are like, oh, she's fake, oh, she's this and that. No grace is given to her when she makes a little mistake, but other characters on the show are given so much grace when they make tons and tons of mistakes. And you just have to call a spade a spade. It comes down to the fact that these ladies, they do get a lot of hate because of who they show up as. They never backed down from being black women, confident black women, beautiful black women. Even whenever I believe Alandria's mom came to visit her on the show, she was like, look, I look T, right? Like body T, face T, everything. And her mom was hyping her up. She knows she's beautiful. Shelly absolutely knows she's beautiful. These are women who show up as themselves, have very beautiful African features, don't try to appease any eye, and they get a lot of hate because they do directly challenge power structures within America and beauty standards within America, because we all know that in America there is a tier of beauty standards, and it stems from, we can get into that conversation a long time, it stems from many years ago when the country was created. And we know that black women inherently were not built to fall into those beauty standards, and yet when there is a black woman who shows up on media, who shows up in these higher places, and they show up 100% authentic as themselves, and they find themselves beautiful, and they know they're beautiful, and they're not self-deprecating or trying to speak down on themselves or their hair, or trying to be shy, or trying to appease people with sympathy so people can hype them up and call them beautiful. It makes people very uncomfortable, and I believe that's what we've seen with these two characters in particular. Confidence plus money plus luxury equals the triangulated threats. There's a tension when a black woman claims space and luxury. It's not always about the purse or the private jet, it's about visibility. Black feminist thought reminds us that visibility is dangerous when it upsets power structures. The body of a confident black woman in a luxury flat is a rebuke. We belong here. Thus the backlash, comments, threads, algorithmic invisibility, shade in DMs, we've seen it all. A terrible irony, society rewards quiet confidence, just not from black women. When she posts her designer haul and doesn't apologize for it, some fans think it's too flex. But when thousands of white creators do the same, it's inspiration. It's audacious for her to show up and not say sorry for existing. Okay, so the two key influencers that come to mind that make luxury content, are in that lifestyle for real, are Jessica Alford, which I'll include some of her content, and Daphne Blunt. These are two black influencers. Daphne is biracial, her mother's black, her dad is white, and Jessica is black, dark skinned, so two different types of black women in terms of shading, but like they are both black women. And they're in a sector of content creation and social media that is not heavily inhabited by black women. And because they're in this space, there are a lot of naysayers, especially for Daphne. Like, I don't know if Daphne's ever gonna watch this video, but if you do, girl, I am so sorry, because she's one of my favorite influencers. I think that a lot of her content is satire, and her sense of humor is either you get it or you don't. You know, the girls that get it. But either way, she's like from that life for real. I see a lot of comments underneath her videos where she discusses her lifestyle. She discusses the privilege she grew up with. And there's just a lot of people who simply do not believe the girl. Like, they do not believe her. I'm gonna insert some of her content here where she was quite literally talking about some things that she thought was normal to her growing up.
Things I thought were normal growing up, but are not. Number one, working. Growing up, neither of my parents worked, ever. My mom never had a job. My dad also never worked. So my dad retired when I was like 4. Going to a traditional 9-to-5 job was never something that was even like, I didn't even really know that was a real thing. Like literally my dad used to take me out of school in the middle of the day to go buy racehorses. I was actually the youngest licensed racehorse owner in the entire state at the time. The second thing is paying cash for houses. I didn't even understand the concept of a mortgage, and I still don't. I don't know what that is. Maybe a little bit more niche, but the next thing is going to the White House. Growing up, I went to White House picnics. I went to all sorts of events. I went to the Capitol building all the time. I got to go into George Washington's crypt. They don't open it often or for just anyone. When I was like a toddler, my parents were flying to England and they brought me with them, and somebody had advised them that I didn't need a passport. And we got to the airport and they were like, no, she needs a passport, because I was like 2. Somebody that works for my family was able to make a call, and I had direct permission from the Queen of England to be able to enter the country without a passport. Another thing is members of my family having private security that went everywhere with them. For a while, my uncle actually had Secret Service.
Some comments underneath that video, I was reading some of them and I took some screenshots. So of course, people are now referencing Becca Bloom, because Becca Bloom is in a similar sector of luxury content. But the thing like 𝙲𝙗𝞃 and Becca Bloom do is that they're not like, oh, I'm a luxury influencer and that's what I present as and that's my caricature. It's very much like, no, I just live this life and I've never known anything different, but I just kind of want to be a content creator because it's just kind of like, oh, this is cool. There's a difference. But a lot of people can believe that Becca Bloom is living that life. But I don't know how old Becca Bloom is, but 𝙲𝙗𝞃, she's young. She's like 23 or 24 or something like that. People cannot believe that this biracial black girl could live such a life of privilege and that she grew up in this life. Comments, Becca Bloom never seems like she's bragging. She just seems like she's having a conversation and seems so sweet. This girl, everything that comes out of her mouth is bragging. She cannot finesse wealth if she is truly wealthy. Everything that comes out of her mouth is bragging. I like Becca Bloom. I mean, contrary to, you know, the mixed opinions about her, I actually do like her content. I don't watch it like consistently, but like when I do see it, I give it a like. I do think she's just one of those wealthy influencers that is just genuinely about that life. She's genuinely wealthy, but decided to just pick up TikTok one day and was like, oh, people like the stuff I'm making, so I'll just keep on making it, right? Becca Bloom may not outright seem like she's bragging. I think it honestly depends on who you're talking to, because I do see how some of her content could be looked at as bragging. So what this person is commenting is heavily biased, because Becca Bloom, like, she eats caviar for breakfast. Like, she has had some very expensive pieces, like pieces that have security, you know, sent to her. So it's like, you can look at that and you don't see that as bragging. I can name quite a few people who would see that as bragging. But 𝙲𝙗𝞃 is simply just telling the story of things that she grew up with and that was normal to her. She really doesn't, nobody's holding a gun to this girl's head and telling her to lie about this. Like, she really has, if that's all the stuff that really happened to her, she really did not have to tell anybody, you know? But a lot of people have been asking her, how'd you get into this sector? Like, how are you living such a life? Like, how do you have all these nice things? And she's just telling her truth. Like, granted, do I know either one of these women? No, I don't know whether they're lying or telling the truth or not, but like, I also see the biases in people's comments underneath 𝙲𝙗𝞃's content compared to Becca Bloom's. And no, neither of them can be perceived as, oh, this girl's bragging and this girl's not. No, both of them can very much be perceived as bragging, because both of them are both sharing outright their wealthy lifestyle a little tone deafly, like that not many people will get to like experience, right? The only difference is Becca Bloom is a little older, she's married, so it's maybe perceived a little differently compared to 𝙲𝙗𝞃, who's just young, like she's 23 or something like that. And she's not very open about, I guess, her father and where her wealth comes from, for probably good reasons. Like, in the video, she talks about Secret Service agents and different things like that. Like, either way, it's not for me to know whether who's telling the truth or who's not, but I do peep the fact that if 𝙲𝙗𝞃 is telling the truth, which I honestly would bet money she is, people cannot seem to believe that a black woman could grow up with such privilege. A lot of people of other races, non-black races, look at her and they're like, you go against the grain. You go against the systems, the power structures. It makes me uncomfortable, because if me as a non-person of color can not grow up in that type of privilege, but you can, like, that's backwards. And for that, I'm just simply not going to let my ignorant mind and my internalized racism and my misogyny believe that. And that is across the board what we see with a lot of black women in these luxury spaces. Another comment says, I don't know who she thinks she is, but I think it's the shirt she's wearing while telling this story, because most real rich kids be in tank tops or baggy sweaters spilling this tea, because all rich kids are one of the same, obviously. Like, there's no rich kid that is not going out wearing baggy tank tops, baggy shoes, like baggy pants or whatever they said. There's no rich kid that like strays away from that outfit. That's the rich kid uniform. So I guess we're all rich kids. That's what I was just wearing yesterday. Are we just all, because y'all can check my bank account. I'm not a rich kid. Like literally, I just BS. It's BS. Like we have to call it what it is. There's a lot of people, and I feel bad for Daphne for real, because there's just so many people that go under her comments and just refute the life she's living, even though she's constantly posting about the life she's living. Like, I'm sorry, at some point, it's gonna be hard to fake it. It's gonna be really hard for her to fake that. Like it's day to day, she posts so often. Like she's in Italy, she's in Hawaii one day, she's in Amalfi Coast the next. She's has her own business. She's constantly staying in nice hotels in LA. She's constantly around celebrities. But no, there's just no way she could have lived that life. She's literally even posted her mom before. Like you guys get where I'm going with this. Same with Jessica. Jessica's told a little bit more of her story and how she's not come from wealth, but she has changed her life and manifested the life she lives today. She is married, and her content is all about being a classy woman, like changing your life, creating the life you want, and manifesting the wealth and being that girl. And like, I don't think she gets as much hate underneath her comments as Daphne, because you know, people always love an underdog story. They always love to see somebody like, oh, I didn't come from wealth, but now I'm wealthy, you know. But whenever it's kind of like, I kind of grew up in wealth and I've always been around this, for a Black woman, that's where people are very triggered. The hair, the look, the authenticity versus self-deprecation. Let's talk hair. I know we touched on it a little bit before, but if a Black woman wears her curls out, natural, afro, braids, she's celebrating heritage. But if she doesn't apologize for the time it took, she's extra. An article on Black women in luxury noted, we are going to be discussing why Black women don't typically share the intimate details of their lifestyles when they are high earners. Why? Because of what we've already touched on. A lot of Black women get hate, ridiculed, and disparaged and just refuted. Just everything they do and earn and fight for is just refuted because of simply the color of their skin. She posts the lash glam, a new weave, the untouched edges, but the same public says she thinks she's better than us. Why? Because her hair, her look, her unapologetic presentation becomes a symbol of choice, not service. She is who she wants to be and shows up and is proud of who she is. The audacity, choosing not to self-deprecate, choosing not to say, oh, sorry for my hair's a little crazy today. You know, we've seen a lot of those influencers like, don't say anything about my hair, it's crazy today. No, you still showed up on camera. You obviously don't mind that, but you feel the need to kind of put a band-aid over it to protect yourself. Sometimes it's subconsciously, sometimes it's on purpose. Hello, newsflash, I've done it before too. And it's something that through this research and through really spending the time and doing some internal work that I've realized that no, I'm no longer going to appease the white eye, or I'm no longer going to step aside and appease the texturist or appease the colorist or all those people. Show up as your authentic self. I could talk about this all day, y'all, but I'm gonna get back on track. The audacity, choosing not to say sorry for the hair, but instead choosing to say this is me. As author 𝚲𝚃 𝚲𝚃𝙃. Yeah. As author 𝚲𝚃 𝚃𝙃 writes in her essay collection 𝚲𝚃 and other essays, Black womanhood and Black girlhood are two prominent themes. She isn't asking for permission to look right or shine. She's demanding it. And the audacity is valid. Social media, exposure, and the policing of confidence. When a Black woman posts confidently, the comment section often becomes a battleground. Toxic positivity, algorithmic hate, invisibility, half-hearted compliments that carry a sting. You're so pretty for a dark-skinned girl. You know, I've touched on this in a previous video. If you want to get deeper into that subject, you can definitely go over and check that video out and then come back to this video. Studies show that social media use intensifies appearance-based dissatisfaction for Black women due to radicalized beauty ideals. And I do want to emphasize that I'm mostly referring to America. Beauty standards in Africa are obviously very different compared to beauty standards in America, in South America, in Europe, and you know, all those places. So I'm in America, so that's where I'm referencing in this video. I know I get a lot of views from people from all over the world, and it's really interesting in the comment section because some people are like, is this even like an issue? Which I don't think it's an issue in every country, which a lot of people forget about. Like, hey, yeah, the USA is not the only country in the world, but yeah, this is not a big issue in other countries, but it is something that we do see and need to discuss about as it pertains to America. So she's audacious, not only for showing up, but for staying visible. Because staying visible means she'll be filtered through a lens that asks, is she too loud? Is she too rich? Is she too visible? Another good example of this is 𝚲𝚃 from Selling Sunsets. If you know, you know. If you don't watch the show, it's basically just another reality TV show. As you can tell, I watch a lot of reality TV. It's kind of embarrassing, but we're not gonna talk about it. 𝚲𝚃 is an agent with the 𝚲𝚃 Group based in Beverly Hills, California, and she is a force to be reckoned with. She's very much her own person. I've been watching Selling Sunset since it first came out. There's like several seasons now. I think there's like 9 seasons. 𝚲𝚃 has not always been my favorite character on the show or favorite woman on the show. She has flaws, but that's the thing. She doesn't try to present as the mommy of the group, the caretaker, the sweet black woman. She shows up as a human, and that's it. A human who just so happens to be black, but she makes mistakes. She shows her good sides and her bad sides. She shows her the bad with the ugly. She's not afraid to say what's on her mind, even if she's very loud and wrong. she's had her moments where I'm just like, ooh. But I can admire the fact that she doesn't care. She doesn't try to filter or censor herself because she is black. And might I add, she is the only black person on the show. I mean, I guess you could count Amanza, but you know what I mean. She's the only black agent and very phenotypically black person on this show. And she does very well for herself, and she handles her business. That's why people cannot come for her, really? Because despite her character flaws, she's still selling them houses, and that's something you cannot take away from her. So I really admire her character for that. I always have been an admirer of people who stand on what they believe. Even if you are wrong, even if you are a bad person, even if you're just loud about it, stand on what you believe. Be loud and wrong. You know, I've never liked the people who are sweet in your face or go with the majority in front of everybody, but really deep down inside, you really have some like countering opinions, but you were too afraid to mention it. No, stand on that. Like, if you have countering opinions, stand on it. You know, I don't want to, I've always said that I'm gonna like, I believe everybody should always just be true to who they are. You know, it doesn't matter whether the majority of people will like you or not, but that also opens up a conversation about people pleasing and overcoming that. So if that is a video you guys want to see from me, I would love to talk more about that as someone who has overcame people pleasing. It's not the easiest thing to do, and I don't think it's even a linear thing to get out of. So if you guys want a video about that, let me know. I'm gonna get back on track. One viral moment when 𝚲𝚃 spoke out about being called brave simply for showing her unfiltered skin. She wrote, "I don't want to be called brave for having acne. I'm living." That's audacity. That's refusing to play the safe black woman role. In a system built to reward invisibility, her confidence becomes a protest. People really don't like some things that 𝚲𝚃 does because she's gonna do it with her chest, and she's gonna say the truth. Like, no, I'm not brave for showing my natural hair because the rest of society or a lot of people are texturous, or it's not something common you see on the internet. Like, I'm a human and I'm gonna present myself as so, and I'm not gonna shy away for being so. 𝚲𝚃 literally said once that if she went on the internet every day and self-deprecated and talked mess about herself or put herself down, she would probably have an extra 100 to 500,000 followers because people would constantly be in her comments uplifting her and kissing her butt and trying to make her feel better. But she refuses to do that, and so she has the latter. So what do we take from all of this? The audacity of a confident black woman is not a flaw. It's a feature. It's a refusal to apologize for your beauty, your voice, your luxury, your too much. If you're a black woman watching this, know this. Showing up boldly is a radical act. Your presence is disruption when you shouldn't be here by someone else's standards. Let your hair speak, let your accent speak, let your taste speak, let your confidence speak, and let your authentic self speak. And if the world recoils, good, let it adjust. Drop a comment below. I want to know, what's the moment you realized that your presence and your confidence was audacious? Like, subscribe if you have not, join our little family. I have this amazing family of daisies, and we're just growing every single day. I just can't fathom why you guys like to watch my videos sometimes. I'm just like, I'm just really here yapping for real. And you guys just continue to come back and hang out with me, and I appreciate it so much. And so I'm gonna do my part and continue to upload and continue to be present and continue to be consistent for you guys. And I just wanna be even more consistent. You know, we only have, what, one more month and a few weeks, I should say, in this new year. So my message to all of you guys is to make it the best that you can. It's never too late to chase your dreams, as cheesy as that sounds. And yes, I hope that this message reached you all. And if you feel like I missed anything, comment down below and let me know what you think about the age of the confident Black woman. Not even the age, because they've always been there, right? But let me know what you thought about anything mentioned in this video. If you agree with anything, disagree with anything, I'd love to discuss with you guys. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye, daisies.